Well, AIMCo is spending more than $1 billion to acquire a majority stake in TC Energy's Northern Courier pipeline. Kevin Uebelein is the CEO of AIMCo. He's with us now. Thanks for being with us. And let's start with why this acquisition, why now? Why is this the right investment for you?
Well, Amanda, thank you for having me on. Acquisition like this, and by the way, our check that we're writing is $185 million of that $1.1 billion roughly. But projects like this fit perfectly when we're trying to match investments against our clients. In this case, they're all Alberta pension funds. So a pipeline like this, it's relatively new. It has a very long lifespan. It's contracted, so cash flows are coming in every year for the next 27 years. And that matches perfectly with the liabilities of pension funds. So we keep trolling for these kinds of projects, and we're happy to do more.
So do you expect there to be more? There's been a sense of a bit of a chill over the whole sector, investing in the sector, but pipelines in particular. Are there opportunities out there?
Well, I can't speculate on the big opportunity that people are thinking about, but I think the answer is yes. I think that it's important that oil from the oil sands is able to get to its clients, and so I think there will be more down the road.
Just give me your thoughts. I mean, obviously, that the big one is still up in the air. We may or may not get a move forward from the federal government in the coming weeks. How big a change in atmosphere, I guess, or the investment climate will that make if we do get the shovels in the ground on the Trans Mountain?
Well, listen, I think as Mark Twain said, the reports of my death are greatly exaggerated, and I think that goes for the oil and gas sector here in Alberta. But there have been some real headwinds against that sector, and lack of pipeline capacity to get to port or to other clients is one of them. So every time we make a step forward, whether that's headway on Bill 48, Bill 69, or any announcement on the TMX, and I won't speculate on when that might be or what it might be, but every positive step will have an automatic buoying effect across this industry in Alberta.
So we do know from the federal government that there have been, that they would like to sell the Trans Mountain, their stake in it. It seems obvious that you would take a look at it at some point. Would you comment on whether that's the kind of investment that would make sense for you in partnership with anybody else?
I won't speculate on a partnership or on any one specific deal. What I will say, though, is that AIMCo is a very strong infrastructure portfolio, very strong infrastructure team, and as evidenced by this transaction that we announced today, pipelines fits squarely within that portfolio.
And of course, your mandate is to grow your money. Just give me a kind of flavor of how much you want to stay focused on oil and gas inside the province, and where else you look for to make new investments. Yeah,
I couldn't hear everything you said there, except our exposure to oil and gas. We have an exposure to energy that's more or less in line with our exposure to the global economy. We have an overexposure, if you will, or a long exposure to Alberta overall. Mm-hmm. But we think that's quite natural because we have insights and we can evaluate transactions that are closer to home. And let's face it, Alberta for many, many decades was the driver of economic growth in Canada.
Fair enough. And of course, that your mandate certainly started there. Like many funds, I know you're looking more broadly now. Where do you see the opportunities outside of that sector and that province?
Well, to put it into perspective, about 7% of our assets out of the $115 billion that we manage are assets or investments located here in Alberta. We see opportunities, particularly in the infrastructure side, across the whole globe. Mm-hmm. We bought a renewables energy company in Spain just earlier this year, and we have infrastructure investments in Latin America, Europe, the United States, Canada, of course, and we have access to those same deal flows through funds in Asia.
Yeah, and when it comes to Alberta, we're seeing a lot of changes with the new government rolling back some of the previous government's policies. Are you bullish on the prospects for the economy there, the energy kind of hiccup notwithstanding?
I'm bullish on Alberta. I try to stay away from the policy decisions that one government or another is making, but there's a palpable sense that the economy here can turn around, and we're looking forward to being a part of that here.
You mentioned a couple of contentious bills, C-48, C-69. How much does that change your view of investing in the space, especially on the infrastructure side?
Well, listen, we think it's important that the views of Albertans and the view of the oil and gas industry are heard as bills like C-69 and 48 are debated and voted on. We think the direction that they're taking now, for the first time in a while, create a tailwind for that industry. So we're happy in the direction it seems to be taking. But listen, we can't take any of that for granted.
All right, we need to leave it there. It's always great to have you with us. Appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you, Amanda.
Kevin Uebelein is the CEO of AIMCo.